What is going on, everybody? Man, Micah's back with another video. Back here to talk about the iPhone 15 Pro 2 weeks later. And as you guys know, in my first week's review, we really kind of harped on battery life, the things that I've noticed, the overhype of the overheating issues, and the general tips and tricks you can use in order to improve battery life. That was all covered in week 1. Now in week 2, we're really more or less going to stick to talking about the hardware and software of the device. And then maybe week 3, we kind of focus on the cameras. But for this case, we're going to talk about the hardware specifically. How has it been holding up? What are my thoughts now that I've been able to really have it in hand over the past 2 weeks? And how has software kind of complemented the hardware? And so, without further ado, let's jump right into the hardware. And as you guys can see, she's still in flawless victory condition. Very, very clean. This natural titanium, I'm glad I got it. I'm not going to front though. That white titanium is looking so good too. But this natural is very clean because in certain lights, as you guys can see here, there it looks gray, looks silver, and then when you tilt it in another direction, it has like that tingy metal look to it as well, which also looks very, very clean. And then of course the rings for the around the camera, if you guys really kind of notice there, that's where you really notice kind of that tingy look, that brownish, tannish, whatever you want to call it ish color that just silhouettes around each of those camera modules. Just so pretty. And then of course the glossy Apple logo right there in the middle looks very clean. Surprisingly, it does not really hold fingerprints. Like they go away relatively fast. I mean, maybe that's just because they probably get wiped off really easy once you put it in a pocket or something, or lay it on something kind of cloth. As you guys can see, I just kind of smudged my thumb on it, but you really don't notice it all that much. And that's compliments to Apple with this logo. But I like a frosted logo. That probably would have been fire too for the Apple device, or maybe a logo that glows. That would have been kind of cool too. Correct me if I'm wrong, but did they not have an iPhone that did have a glowing logo? Was that around like the iPhone 3 or 4? Let me know down in the comment section below. But in terms of the hardware, the finish, very, very nice. And even though this natural titanium still highlights fingerprints, they're not like crazy. They're not disgusting as you would see it on the black titanium or like that blue titanium, or even on the black frames of the iPhone 14 Pro Max. Like what? Yeah, it definitely does not do that. And it go away pretty easy, and they always are easy to kind of just rub away with a cloth or something like that. But inevitably, fingerprints will show up on your phone, so I guess we should stop overhyping it to some degree. Get the color you like, rock with it, and just understand that there will be fingerprints, right? Okay. And so what else do I think about the hardware? Well, the power button, great location. I like it. Although the only thing I don't like is, again, it's real easy to screenshot yourself. What in the world is going on my home? All right. Lord have mercy. It's real easy to screenshot, right? Because of where the power button is located in reference to the volume down rocker. And I wish they would maybe change that, or change the screenshot. If I, oh, okay. So it does not screenshot. Ah, look at that. I'm just talking over here. Okay. There we go. Oh, there's another fly in here. All right, so I guess the screenshot is volume up and that, but you could still accidentally do it. As we know, there's a lot of people that talk about accidentally, constantly taking screenshots with their phone. So there's got to be some give here in terms of the button placements, whether or not they place them higher or place the power button a little higher. I think on the Pro phone, since the Pro phone is smaller, if they place it higher, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt at all, and especially now that we have a action button, I still think, we would be good. And as you guys can see here, I could just keep kind of touching things on the screen. And speaking of the action button, I like it. And I like the haptic feedback they give us for that action button, letting us know when we click it, it'll tell you or give you haptic sensation. In this case, it's not telling me anything because it's in ring mode. But if I press and hold, then I get haptic touch, let me know it's in silent. If I click it, it doesn't give me no haptic. But if I press and hold, it gives me one haptic vibration to let me know I have now switched it back to ring. So I like that there. I like the flexibility or the versatility of this button. A lot of people have essentially, shortcut the just goodness gracious out of this button, which is very possible. I've been hearing people shortcut this depending on the which way you landscape the phone. It'll activate different actions and everything. Like, you can get very granular with shortcuts and turn this action button into something multitasking worthy. And I think that's a great thing that Apple introduced. And I hope that they add a little simplicity to it by not having to rely on shortcuts, but by simply giving us double tap, triple tap features for the action button. I think that could come in a software update, whether it's through iOS 17 or even iOS 18. And of course, we're going to talk about these cameras later. But what we're going to talk about now, that's software. And before we do, if you guys haven't already, make sure to like the like button, subscribe to the channel, the notification bell, so my videos. That way, sit back, chillax, see what's cracking. And let me know down in the comment section below what you guys thought, what you guys think about the hardware. Think about the colors for this year's iPhones, and in general, what colors would you like to see come to the iPhone? That is a hardware decision that they make. Now, jumping into the software, iOS 17 has been a beaut. Is a beaut. And of course, I was enjoying it while running a beta. I'm not running a beta right now in terms of 17.1. I would actually like to have a second device, not because I had any issues. I just would like to have a second device and run it on that just in case. But I've never had any problems with beta software, even in the Android world when I ran the Android versions on beta or Samsung's One UI beta program. Never had any long lasting issues. The issues are always resolved throughout the beta program, and then of course completely resolved for the most part with the stable release. So I've never had any problems with beta software. But iOS 17 definitely was helped by another hardware decision. Shout out to the A17 Pro chip from Apple. I almost called it Bionic, but that chip, you notice, it's kind of crazy. Like, you who would say or think you would notice a 10 to 15% difference in performance? I have noticed a 10 to 15% performance, and that's really just with the day-to-day tasks. This phone has not hiccuped not one time. Now, I will say I've had a couple apps freeze from time to time, but I have not had any apps outright slow down, lag, get on my nerves from that perspective. I have not noticed the frame rate drop either. This phone has been running seamlessly, and that's really compliments to Apple bringing a level of overclocking, if you will, to the A17 chip, or rather that no, it's probably a new chip for sure. But that granular performance is exactly what we needed. Not to say that iOS 17 wasn't running smooth on the iPhone 14 Pro, but I noticed a difference with this device here. And the other thing I noticed is, even though I've been kind of touching the display a little bit, palm rejection isn't really bad. Like, with another hardware shout out, the display is even more clean in terms of thinner bezels, and just how the phone is rounded out on the between the frames, the back of the phone and the front of the phone. It just feels so good to be able to operate and just touch things, right? Just jump into YouTube, and then I jump back out, and then I jump in. I don't want to jump in there, and then I jump into every down. I don't want to jump in there, and then I jump in over here, and you see how just fast it moves without even really showing anything, right? But it's so fast, and it's so smooth. It's reliable, and that's what you want from your software, from your phone as a whole. You want the hardware to feel good and not get in the way of using the software. You want the software to feel good, not getting in the way of the hardware. And you'd be surprised at how either of those two things can intrude upon one another. And in this case, from a software perspective, Apple's doing their thing with iOS 17 and the iPhone 15 Pro, complemented by the A17 Pro chip. It's doing this thing. And then Dynamic Island has been a joy. I didn't know Burger King would use that Dynamic Island. I've ordered food, through the Burger King app, and it will display up in the Dynamic Island. And now it wouldn't go away because they don't really update your order progress. So I think that's a bug or a problem with Burger King's app. But in terms of it sitting up there in the top, fire. Or I haven't really touched Aura since anything. I guess I could open it real quick just to see if it will stay up in my dynamic island with the location settings and whether or not I need to charge my ring, which I don't think I do. Let's see if it'll load up here. No, I still got battery. So, yeah, remember to charge your ring. Yep. Let's see if it will update. It says it's updating. There's the line up at the top. Now, Aura can be slow to update. I don't think that has anything to do with on Apple's end. That's just Aura trying to get all your data and put it into the app. And we see, I think that little line is moving. I think it is. Come on now, buddy. I can't tell if it really is. You see the location up at the top by the time is kicking in. If you guys see right there, and that line, look, I can't tell. Is it progressing past the little person slash? It looks like it is. For whatever reason, this Aura Ring app is dragging its tail updating. This is the first time I've actually noticed that. Okay, so now you guys see how I jumped back up in the location app? Yeah. I don't know what it is about location in the Aura app, but it will not function properly as it did before on the iPhone 14 Pro. So I think there might still be a problem with the Aura app and potentially iOS 17, but it's from Aura side and not iOS 17, as confirmed via Farouk, iPhone dude, right, with his Instagram investigation, and it was Instagram and not Apple's side of things. So I think it's the same thing happening with Aura as well. So I go back in here, you see the line has moved some more, but for whatever reason, maybe I need to bring the ring closer, and maybe it will, it's just having one of them slow days. So aside from the Aura app, we haven't had any issues with anything updating. But what I would have to do is once this app updates, I would have to actually swipe the app away just so that would go away. Yeah, just so it would leave here. Now, if I click on it, it'll bring me back in because for whatever reason, it's still logged in up there in the dynamic island. Very interesting. I've never really noticed that before, and even you can't press and hold. So that, I don't know, it's interesting. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Downloading stuff has been a breeze, has been fast, haven't had any issues there. Been able to create thumbnails on my phone with no problems. Edit Lightroom photos with no problem, and they download the photos real fast, like real snappy. So again, from a hardware and software perspective, they feel very cohesive. And that's what you want from your phone experience. You don't want it to get in the way of your daily use and activities that you have to do. And that is a plus in my book for Apple and for the iPhone 15 Pro. So let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think about the iPhone 15 Pro series or even 15 series. What iPhone are you using? Are you interested in upgrading to this phone? Do you like iOS 17? What's your favorite iOS version? The comment section is open for discussion. But again, as always, if you guys haven't already, make sure you like the like button, subscribe to the channel, the notification bell. So it's my videos, so that way you sit back, chillax, see what's cracking. With your man Micah signing out. And until the next video, get that light right. Get that light right. Wow. Wait for it.